Good afternoon, Charlee Velazquez here with none other than Mr. Ross Devonport, or Devonport, that's how you spell it.
Devonport. Charlee, how are you? I'm very well.
We're very glad, very nice to see you. I have to say, Ross, this is for the Who's the Ref series.
Yes.
But Ross is somehow, he's like everywhere. You cover so many things.
I'm everywhere, but I'm not everywhere. I'm everywhere, not in person, but if you ever need me on the phone, the email, the text, I'm always there. But it's good to get out and see a club like this doing well.
Let me just tell people, you're a big contributor to rugby in Florida, because you are the guy, unfortunately, who has to tell everybody who's the ref, right? The
Yes.
ref assignateur, that's French for who's the ref.
Yeah, that's my number one job at the moment is the VP of referee appointments or assignments. I never know which to call it, appointments or assignments, but yeah, things are getting cranking here. The first games are in 2 weeks, and we've got 2 very busy weeks to start things off. And then we run through the end of April, and we're always looking for refs. So if you want to pick up the whistle, let Charlie or I know.
Well, we'll talk about that now. And you are also the head of the FAU Foundation, right?
I am the president of the FAU Rugby Foundation.
You organize this very nice tournament of sevens.
We do. We have Surf and Sevens first
year.
first Saturday in June every year. It's been a success. It's been definitely a big success last year, especially with the weather. We actually finally got to finish the tournament, which most years the hurricane comes to, some kind of storm comes through and blows away the tents.
And as you were not busy enough, you got this role as the USA scout for U18s, 20s.
Yeah, I picked that up last year. Obviously, I was still refereeing a little bit more last year, so it was hard to put as much time as I wanted. As much time as I wanted to put into it, but I signed the refs, so this year I'm hoping I can put some more time into getting out there and watching the kids, and suggesting some kids to go that could play at that next level.
You've been reffing for a while, right? How long? Like 10?
It's been at least 15 years,
15
I think.
years.
Yeah, at least that.
How did you get to that? Tell us a little bit of your story as a rugby player.
Well, I've played since I could walk. My dad played top-level rugby in England, and then I came here at the age of 16 from England, and obviously still played rugby then, and played for FAU for God knows how many years when they didn't really care at that point if you actually went to college. Had a few concussions, and at some point, work gets in the way and family gets in the way, and I decided, well, maybe I'll pick up the whistle. Just with some encouragement from my dad, who really wanted me to do it, because he was a semi-ref, but he would also coach referees. And so I remember one Rugby Fest I picked it up. My first game was an old boys game.
Oh, that's the worst.
At Rugby Fest, and I survived that. So I've been doing it ever since. I'm a level 1. I've refereed some South semi-finals, refereed some decent level 7s. Trying to sort of get away from the refereeing now and towards the scouting side of things. And obviously my assigning gig takes up a lot of time as well for those 4 or 5 months in the spring.
Especially this referee assignment thing, I just have to say people have to be more conscious of what it entails, because referees have a life, right? So if they have, and these are the most responsible guys I can actually find in all rugby probably, because they take this thing seriously. But,
some more than others.
Yeah, well, but overall, so I'm sort of really sick and tired of seeing teams canceling on a Friday night, right? I mean, you have to be able to confirm your referee by Wednesday, because if you're not playing, so this guy can do something else, right?
It's a whole process, right? When I look at a weekend of games, I sort of start locally and figure out who I have in that area and the level of game they can do, and then I move around the state. Some people aren't available every weekend. Some people don't mind traveling 6-7 hours. Some people only want to travel within their local community. But yeah, and you also want to have some games that are more difficult than others. Some that don't jump out, like Okapi Cape Pirates, for an example, right? It's a game that has a history, but it's one of those ones that almost slips my mind every year, because they're not local rivals, but when they do play each other, it's been a history over the last couple of years, and I have to make sure I have a competent, decent level ref to do that game. But as you said, yeah. I'm always asking for volunteers to go up to Gainesville, Tallahassee, the areas where we don't really have a lot of referees. So I got to spread that out and make sure that I'm not sending somebody 3 or 4 hours every weekend, because I don't want to anger the wife and the kids too much. But I appreciate all of those that do volunteer to travel.
What would be your selling argument for people to pick up the whistle?
I mean, you look at the success that Florida referees have had in picking up the whistle, the likes of Cisco Lopez, Haley Slaughter Khalil, Harrison, that have, Lex Wiener, that have left the state and gone around the world on somebody else's dime. That's the biggest thing I would say. Like, if you love to travel and you love the game, but you're not perhaps going to reach that, ever going to reach that elite level of playing, there's a great chance if you're fit and you're smart and you love the game, you could reach the top level as a referee. And we've sent, they've gone to Dubai. Cisco's obviously on the World 7 circuit now, and going around the world on somebody else's dime playing rugby. So I think it's a great way to give back. We've seen some of the older guys as well that want to give back if they don't have the time to coach. A coaching commitment is 2 nights a week, every Saturday. Well, refereeing, you just got to show up on a Saturday, do your homework at home, watch the games, watch the elite referees and what they do, and do your research, read the law book, and it's a lot less time commitment. You're on your own time, and you can give back to the game. I know there's been, the last few years, there's been a lot of issues of referee abuse on the sideline in Florida. I think the union is starting to do a little better job of dealing with that. Referees also have to do a better job of reporting it, and that here's what's going on, and certain teams are worse than others. But referees establishing their technical zones, establishing the setup of the fans on the other side from the teams, which not every referee does. That kind of stuff will help limit that, and in the end, we can come out to things like this, and people will welcome us to things like this, that pre-season barbecue, rather than be like, oh, I'm not inviting that referee because he hates us. But it's
so
a great
you're
way
one of the lucky ones that invited you, right?
Oh, listen. I think everybody knows who the refs are. I don't know everybody here, but a lot of people know who I am just because I'm the ref, and I always forget people's names. I know faces, right? You're
pretty famous because I think you have a podcast, right?
I do have a rugby podcast with some Charlee Velazquez bloke. No, it's funny. I remember when I used to work for CBSSports.com. I didn't even have a video or anything. I had one guy recognize me from refereeing a rugby game, and now obviously people know who I am. And as long as you have respect from the community, and that's the way it matters to me. Like I know I'm not the fastest ref in the world, I'm not the youngest ref in the world, but I know my stuff, and I think I'll always give everybody a fair game. I think that's all teams really want out there, is that referees that know the laws and that apply them fairly to both sides.
Ross, you probably have a lot of memories of stuff that have happened in the games. Do you care to share any one of those memories, like something that comes to your mind that wow?
Does it involve Miami rugby?
I don't know, maybe. That's up to you.
Well, the wife always reminds. Well, I always remind the wife of this story. The first game she ever watched me referee was Miami against Cape Pirates. It was a B Division semi-final, I think 2010.
No, it wasn't Cape Pirates. It was.
Well, no, what was turned into Cape Pirates?
Back in the days, it was.
Oh man.
Oh man, we're getting old.
Yeah, the team that Pip True coached, Lincoln Park Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's turned into Cape Pirates now, basically, right? Or Treasure Coast area, right? Yeah, it was Miami at Lincoln Park Academy, and it was the first game my wife ever watched me ref, and it lasted. I don't even think it got to halftime.
No, it didn't.
There was a player got tackled in, and I'll never forget this, because the player got tackled in the touch, and as he got tackled in the touch, he flipped the ball back in. Play continued. I turned around to watch the game. Excuse me. And then I heard. You heard a noise. When you hear noises in games, it's something that tells you something's going on as a referee, because you can't see everything that's going on behind your back. So I heard a noise that wasn't a rugby-related noise. I looked around, there was a full-on brawl on the sideline. I guess one of the moms was involved, the brother of the kid. The kid had got up and shoved the kid after got tackled, and his mom jumped in, and his brother jumped in, and
everybody jumped in.
Ended up calling the game, and that was the first game of rugby my wife ever watched.
So this is nice. Oh, this rugby thing is nice.
7 years later, she started playing the game at the age of 36, 37. So no, that was an interesting experience. But I've had so many great experiences from the game over the years. So many great games I've refed. Refing the final of Rugby last year kind of stood out to me, because that was kind of I knew that was kind of the last game I was really gonna at that level I was gonna ref. It was a very high level game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I busted my ass. I was injured for like a month afterwards because I busted my ass so hard. But and the two South semi-finals as well, really stand out to me, getting to do those, and refereeing guys that ended up going on to play in MLR. So those are the things you remember. It brings you back every time, wanting to get back. Listen, you ref some bad games, don't get me wrong. But even when I'm doing the schedule now and I'm saying, man, I really want to get in there and jump in, but I know I need to focus on the scouting side of things and help out refereeing when I can. And then if I do referee, at least I'll try to referee the U19 games, so at least I get to watch the kids. And I say with a kid that stands out, I give them my business card and say, here, reach out to me and get film on them. And looking forward to getting into the scouting side of things.
So a challenging season ahead, right? For the referee point of view,
certain areas of the state, right? It's the same every year. It's not always the same areas. It has been the last few years, especially the north end of the state where we really struggle for referees. And it's a long way to go to Jacksonville, Gainesville, Tallahassee. It's a little better this year, and that we do have some refs that were out due to COVID reasons that are now coming back this year, a little more confident with the vaccine, etc. So we do have a few more refs up there, but injuries happen. People get older, people retire. So we really do need refs on the top end of things. Down here it's a little easier, but there's a lot more teams down here. Some weekends are
I know,
better than others. Being down here, I mean, South Florida, there's a lot, lot more teams, and a lot more games some weekends.
It seems to me, I may be wrong, but I think the FRA, the Referee Association, does not do enough to encourage people to be a referee. There are not enough courses, because of course you have to go to one of these courses to start, right, and get certified. I just don't see them as active as they should be, and
that's obviously a matter of opinion. I think that people that are in place. I think we have a good board in place. And it'll get better as I think the years go on. You obviously got to have the support of the union as well. I think with the courses, if people reach out and want to courses somewhere, then they just reach out to us and say, hey, if enough people reach out in Western.
But what I'm saying is you have to be proactive. You're not just wait till people show up. You have to be, I just think you're not doing it. You should be more out there, on a regular basis, having courses, organizing things, for people to, because it's, when I hear you guys talk, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people say, well, they probably think the life of a ref is hell, okay? And every ref I talk to in this series, everybody, different levels, they cherish their what they have done or doing or whatever.
I think you've got to. I think you can certainly have some outreach, right, to get people to ref. But if you're interested in reffing, I think you've got to want to do it, right? I don't want to get guys that are. Until we have courses.
Sometimes you need somebody to push you, right?
No, 100%, especially the young kids, right? I think part of that responsibility is the referees that referee games, and you see a kid that, perhaps physically. Well, look at Cisco as an example, right? Always a super skinny kid. He loved playing the game, but he knew perhaps he was never going to reach the level he wanted to, and he understood that. Smart as Cisco is and as in shape as he is, he knew his refereeing was going to be the way for him to go see the world for free. If there's kids out there, or even guys in their early 20s, that's the time to pick up the whistle. That's the problem. If I picked up the whistle way too late because I still love to play the game, and I wish I'd picked up the whistle a little earlier.
We have a lot of room for referees like that are not really thinking in developing a career.
You need all levels. You need all levels.
We need a lot of those.
I think it's the young ones that you need to say, hey, perhaps look, step away. You want to try refereeing. You know the game, especially as a referee. Like when I'm refereeing a game, I notice the kids that know the laws and don't talk back to me and are leading their team and saying this is what we should be doing. Most of the time they're also the best players on the team, and they may be going away, but it's the kids that are young 20s that sort of disillusioned with the game and perhaps Florida rugby in general, but want to get out there and referee and still be part of the game. I think as a union, I think we could do a better job. I think telling the stories of those that have gone on, that's the best way to do it, right? You look at these, we've got 5 or 6.
Well, but I'm doing that, not you guys.
No, for sure it could be done better. I think we could. You've certainly helped with, especially on the interview side of things and talking to get that stuff, because that's what these kids do, right? They watch the videos. I'm old enough that I'm not a huge watcher of videos, but these kids are on their phone all the time and watch the videos and say, "Oh man, look, this person came from Florida and got to go to Dubai." The fact that Florida has probably produced, more than.
Wow, amazing.
Considering amazing. Considering how people consider Florida rugby as being sort of, not everybody, but some people consider Florida rugby a bit of a joke. Right, but on the referee side of things, there's no doubt we're not. We've produced 6 elite level referees that have gone on to MLR and the World Sevens circuit. So,
hey Ross, I know you came here mostly to eat, so I'm gonna let you go because you must be hungry. Nice talking to you.
You too, sir. I'll see you.
Maybe we can get on with the podcast.
Yeah, well, the first real. There's some friendlies on the 8th and 15th, but the 22nd things really get kicking. We've got 20 plus games on the 15th, on the 22nd and the 29th. I'm still working on getting them covered.
Good luck with that.
We'll have the Rand Beach 5s to cover that's going on today right now in Hollywood as well. We've sent some refs down there.
It's going to be a very intense season because everything is squeezed in between.
Well, this is you and I have this discussion all the time about the fact that the season is basically squeezed into half of January and then through April while we have all this beautiful weather all year. But as a result, it's going to be chaos for a few months, and hopefully everybody stays healthy and gets out there and play some rugby.
Of course. But nice talking to you, man.
You too, sir.
I'm doing this. Well, Ross Devonport, we'll see him soon on the podcast also.
Cheers, guys.
You need to bring an appropriate jersey. Come on, man.
They're playing today, so.
Oh my God, AFC Bournemouth. Okay.
I'm missing the game right now to be here.
Oh, okay.